So it's just gone 9 o'clock here in Chicago, just gone 3 p.m. in the afternoon. It's Darren and Steve with Across the Pond. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Thank you. You?
Yeah, I'm very well, very well. So everybody, big shout out to Darren this week. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, mate. 21 again.
21, yes. I don't look it, do I?
You don't at all, mate. You don't at all. You don't at all. So busy week then. Everything roundabout seems to little green shoots of people getting back to maybe doing something. I know UK's relaxing some of the regulations. What's happening there?
Well, for many people, there's still confusion because it depends on their business and what they do. For some people, I think they don't see what the confusion is. But we're definitely slowly progressing. And I think where the confusion is as we start to go out more and do things, if it's not written down saying schools do this, manufacturing does this, retail does it, unless it's written out in clear print, then a lot of people are standing there going, well, do I go out, do I stay in? And it's just taking a bit of working out, but there's going to be uncertainty for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Certainly here, there's some states that have relaxed some of their regulations. There's been some stuff on the news of people in bars and things like that. But here in Illinois, we're still seeing a climb in cases and deaths at the moment, which is jolly unfortunate, as are many other states. So, and I agree. There's a lot of confusion just about what the right thing is for all sorts of industries, including retail, which is our segue into our guest this week. Yeah. I've known Sabri for a number of years. Great guy in that real retail management, asset management roles. Great fella to have with us. So Sabri Marsaoui, welcome. I'm going to bring you into the studio now. Welcome to Across the Pond with Darren and Steve. Good to have you here, mate.
Thank you very much. Great, kind introduction, Steve, as always. Lovely to see you both again. And thank you very much for the invitation and getting involved in the conversation.
Yeah, no, brilliant. So retail asset director in London these days. Sabri, tell us what you're doing now. What's the focus? Because I see on LinkedIn you're doing amazing work.
I think the best way to start looking at what does a retail asset director not do? I think it's pretty much absolutely everything that's required to ensure you've got a successfully running multi-mixed-use real estate asset. But to very much stick to your question now, when lockdown kicked in, the focus fundamentally changed for all landlords, all asset managers, asset directors across the country. All of a sudden, it was about how can we, if we possibly could, to continue to keep a shopping centre up and running during this crazy, and to use a coined term that is clearly been thrown about a lot, but it is unprecedented terms and unprecedented times that we've had to move very, very quickly. One of the schemes that I'm involved with down in London is Edmonton Green Shopping Centre. Just to set a bit of context, 26-acre site. It's got 120 retailers, 38 market stalls. It's got the two big superstores for car parks, leisure centre. It's literally, it's not a shopping centre. It's a town centre in Enfield, where the footfall pre-COVID of over 11.2 million people came through and used our site. So as you can imagine, if we had to be put in a position where that shuts down, that would have a dramatic impact upon the wider catchment and the local community that used our scheme and continue to use our scheme on a daily basis. We've had to, one of the biggest challenges during this time is to continue to find a way to remain operational. So even today, for example, we've got 50 tenants that are still open and trading out of a total of 170. So actually the team on site have done a fabulous job. We've obviously got a centre management team and all of that are in play. They're doing a great job just keeping the doors open, making sure that all of our customers can actually still get access to essential goods.
What's been the real challenge though for the retailers in your opinion, Sabri? I mean, 50 open is fabulous, and as you say, you're a focal point in the community. But what's the biggest challenge those guys are facing?
I think the biggest challenge that they're facing is definitely how they're going to be able to adapt to a new norm. Again, that's something that we talk about a lot over here in the UK at the moment. What does that look like? The problem is nobody knows what it looks like, and whoever says they do, they certainly don't. We're all very much just turning on the wheel as we kind of figure this all out for ourselves. But I think what's key, and already we've seen a lot of our retailers do this in Edmonton, and you can see it across the wider community. They've geared up quite quickly to be able to give, when we're ready to re-welcome everybody back into our worlds, the key thing that we're going to want as consumers, because remember, that's what we all go shopping all the time, is we're going to want to feel safe. And the only way you're going to be able to deliver that is if retailers very quickly change the way that they operate their businesses. So I'm seeing retailers already setting up, they've got all the floor vinyls, they've got hand sanitizers, they've got the protective screens, they're controlling numbers that are entering the stores. We've got one-way systems up and running. And this is the way to effectively, over time, allow us to come into the new norm.
Yeah, cool.
Brilliant. So Bray, have you got any tips for retailers for trying to get people to come back into the store once they're open again? What they should do to try and get them to come back and go to their store specifically?
Yeah, of course. I think, as with anything, and in fairness, retailers should have been doing a lot of the stuff that we're talking about now, regardless of the fact that COVID's kicked in. We as humans love to shop, so we need to do whatever we can to remove the friction. That's the thing that's still, and I know Steve and I have discussed this point over the years, there's still far too much friction. We make it difficult for customers to want to actually come and shop with us. So, I mean, the best tips really are, make sure you've got a very safe working environment. You're continually communicating with your staff members, with your landlords, with your customers that are coming through the door, making them feel welcome, making them feel safe is clearly key at this point in time. But also, they've got to be able to offer the products that we've always wanted. You have to remember, really, with the age of Amazon and the online shopping now, it's so simple for us all to just sit at home and use one of these devices, and there's many places that we can order these things from. But we've got to have a point of difference, and it does come back to that experiential retailing perspective. Give them something different, or why wouldn't people sit at home and order from another online and get it delivered into their store, into their home?
Yeah, amazing customer service is the key factor in that, Sabri, isn't it? That I know the stats, as 78% of people still want to touch, feel, and engage with a product before they buy it, and 64% of people will return to a store and seek out the employee that served them if they got amazing customer service.
Absolutely right. And that comes down to also making sure that the girls and guys on the ground working in these units, product knowledge is still fundamentally important. When we go in there and we have a question, gone are the days of, I don't know, I'll find out. You need to know. And I think it's worth pointing out also, one of the things that we've been doing, again, over this period, getting ready for a lockdown to be lifted, is we've continued to engage with our retailers, communicating on a pretty much daily basis, finding out what they're doing, explaining what we're doing, and how we can continue to support them now and into the future. And that's involved, for anyone that follows me on LinkedIn, you'll see, we do a lot of, excuse me if I bore a lot of people who see a lot of this stuff, but it's all about the community for us. For as a landlord, for us to be in the best possible place we can, we've got to continually help support community groups as much as we can. And I could reel off the list of 10, but just a couple to give an example. We've been supporting the Enfield Supply Centre. So effectively, that's everybody run by Enfield Council, our local authority, have collaborated together. They've set up a warehouse infrastructure, and they're delivering food parcels across the community. Because there are a lot of vulnerable people that are in the locality of Edmonton Green. We've got to be able to do what we can be able to do. But in addition to that, we've supported Age UK, which is obviously the local version of Age UK, as opposed to just giving a lump sum to other people. Community Link, the Baptist Church, who are helping the homeless, All for One People. Literally, I've probably got 15 or 20 groups that we've helped already. But what's key for me in my role is this doesn't stop when COVID disappears. This needs to continue indefinitely. And those landlords that do work in that way will ultimately win longer term.
Sure. Where does technology fit into all of this, Sabri? I mean, are you encouraging those retailers that are open to have a bigger presence social media wise? Is the asset itself? Obviously, I see all the great work you're doing on LinkedIn, but are you using that technological aspect as well, social platforms to keep people involved and drive sales or help the retailers in some way?
Yeah, so in terms of social media, yes, we're continually trying to explore new and exciting ways to communicate with our existing retailers, but also the consumers that come into our schemes. One thing that actually we're spending quite a lot of time on now, and I'm not scared to admit it, actually, we're slightly behind the curve when you compare us to some of the premium end of the shopping centre niche. We need to work harder and we need to work faster on integrating technology into our day-to-day functions. The good thing is a lot of our retail presence already have that infrastructure. So a lot of those can still shop online. They've continued to get delivery sent through. And, to coin some of the stats, online has clearly excelled during this, period of lockdown for the rest of us. There are businesses that are still up and running. JD is a perfect example. JD as a store is closed within our schemes. But I ordered from JD two days ago, a load of new clothes, and it turned up today. So, that frictionless element of online is still very much there. What we need to make sure that we do, certainly schemes such as Edmonton and a lot of what I'd classify value-led community-based shopping centres, need to embrace as much technology as we possibly can. And I think the first starting point is about really understanding where our return on investment is. And I think if we were to step back and think, if we already had this infrastructure in play now, would it have been better? Yes, of course it would. But hindsight's a thing, right? So it's now about saying, right, what lessons can we learn? I think we're thankful we've managed to continue to trade during this crazy period, or certainly 30% of the scheme has. But God forbid this was to happen again. I want to make sure that we've got everything ready to help and support our retailers even more than now.
Yeah, great insight, mate. Great insight. And then going forward, what's the next 12 months look like for the scheme itself? Have you got any big plans happening? If we get back to whatever the new normal might be, what's in the pipeline for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you that follow on social media, you would have seen that over the last, we've only owned the scheme for 16 months. So we bought it from a previous developer that held it for close to 20 years. And we've invested a significant sum of money in the multi-millions, actually, to do what we'd classify or categorize as a refresh scheme. So new lighting, new signage, new playground, painting, decorating, all the stuff that really should be a given, if I'm honest with you. So we've allowed ourselves to reset the asset back to a position that it should have always have been. And it's now about looking at, okay, how can we tweak the longer or the medium to longer term plans to make sure that we're continuing to develop? Because I'm a big supporter of you're on that wheel and you've got to continually, incrementally improve your assets. Because for those landlords that sit still and think you can spend a couple of million once and we'll revisit in 10 years, are going to be in big trouble. So for us, it's about, look, let's take stock. We're still in a crazy time. No one knows what's going to happen. I don't think it needs any knee-jerk actions or reactions. I think we need to take stock, speak to our teams, our advisors, and say, right, what can we do now to actually move us forward? I think one of the things, again, looking at the scheme in particular, is that we've got a high proportion of independent traders actually that do extremely well. So we are so far away from a clone town, as you can imagine, and that has helped us and will continue to help us. That element of diversity will continue to attract people in, but we can't rest on our morals. It's going to be hard work. It's not business as it used to be, for sure. Negotiations are going to be tougher, but actually one of the keys is to make sure you continually work in partnership with your tenants. And I think that's one of the key differences that we've operated, or since I've been involved with the scheme, since we acquired the scheme, is that I don't speak to tenants when I want something. I speak to tenants all the time. The old school philosophy of asset management.
Absolutely right.
You'll know this really well, is that you speak to someone when you're doing a new lease, and then you say, I'll see you in 4.5 years to discuss a lease renewal. Come on, guys, that business just doesn't work that way anymore. You've got to have that relationship. And really value them it's not a transaction, it is a partnership approach, because tenants and landlords' futures are intrinsically linked. They need to be successful for me to be successful, and vice versa. And anyone who thinks of it the other way, long term, is not going to make it.
Interesting insight, Sabri. Interesting insight. So, where can people find you on LinkedIn? We know that, and you're linked with Darren and I. So we'll, if you can't find Sabri, you'll find him through our links. What about the social media pages? You guys are on Facebook.
Yeah, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. I'm obviously on LinkedIn, talking a lot about the scheme and a lot about retail in general. Yeah, for anyone who wants to just talk shop, I could talk for hours. So yeah, please drop me a message on LinkedIn. Always happy to discuss. And if there's anything I can do to help, I certainly will.
Okay. One of life's great people, Sabri Marsaoui. Thank you so much for being with us today. Best of luck going forward, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Interesting insights there, mate, from the shop floor, really.
Yeah, I'm intrigued about this whole one-way system, because I think the one-way system is a way to keep people from not touching and coming into contact. But some of these retail stores, they aren't huge.
No.
Exactly, you manage that, and even in restaurants, you can have a McDonald's or a KFC that has a one-way system, but how do you do that when people go to tables and then get up from tables to go to the toilet or to the washroom or something else?
It's interesting you bring that up. So certainly here, in the phased reopening, restaurants will only be allowed 25% capacity that they previously had. But in Germany, anybody visiting a restaurant is going to have to be registered and have their temperature taken before they go in. And so that they can track, who was in at what time and so on. So, yeah, I mean, it's very. I think technology is going to really impact every business post COVID anyway, but retail in particular. Yeah. You might be aware. There's a big brand here called Target. And they've put down, as have most of the grocery stores, the kind of one-way aisle things. The interesting thing is, I don't know if it's just because I'm British, I follow the signs and nobody else seems to. So I'm going down the right way and people are coming back out the other way. But but of course everybody's got to be wearing masks in Illinois as well. That's mandatory if you're grocery shopping and everything, as I know it probably is in a lot of environments there. So.
Sorry, I have a crazy uncle who once went the wrong way down a one-way system around an exhibition thing, and he said that's okay. That we're only going one way, so it doesn't matter.
No, there you go. You see, nice one. So, our tips this week, just to keep that retail theme going, are around maybe some things if you're a retailer, independent retailer, or a small retailer, or even if you're a multinational brand watching this. About what you can be doing during this time. So, the first thing, the first tip we've got for you this week is about, as we were just talking about, maybe take a look at the store and see what you need to accommodate social distancing, be that one-way systems or having, as Sabri was suggesting, having guards up, making sure that you're constantly kind of cleaning, your staff are masked and gloved, so that consumers coming in have really got confidence in it being a safe environment. And I think that, if you're doing that and your competitor isn't, you're the one that's going to benefit from that.
Yeah, and I think on top of that, Steve, it's okay doing that, but you need to communicate it. I work with some chiropractors who are currently, they're not just cleaning down the stations before and after and having a one-way system with one person in through one door and a separate door for going out, but they're actually communicating it. And I think up until now, we're all programmed to do social media posts and updates promoting special offers and what we do. But actually, it's almost more important to promote the extent you're going to ensure the safety of the people who come into your store or restaurant.
Yeah, I totally agree. Even to the point of maybe shooting a little video just to let people know what you're doing and posting it. So we got some tips around that in terms of social media as well, Darren. For retailers and restaurants, haven't we?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I mean, they need to post this stuff out regularly, and to make sure. I think not just communicating health and safety, but also that you're actually open. Because I think a lot of people might think, well, not all places are open, so we'll just stick with good old Amazon because we know they're online, or with the online retailers we know. But actually just putting posts out there saying, just to let you know we're open, and we're open during these hours. Just a gentle reminder and a little nudge to get them to come into the store.
Yeah, totally right. And the other thing I think as well is making sure that that maybe you can do the odd offer as well, to attract people back in, to give them a bit of confidence. So and promote that through social media and so on. The other thing that maybe people might want to consider is actually how they're taking payment as well. So if you were purely a cash business, perhaps, and there's still a few of them around, even in Chicago, people might be wary about that. Not allowing people to come in with reusable bags, actually taking away bags that are clean and fresh as well is a very big thing here as well. But making sure that you are wiping down that swipe machine every time, so that people queuing up, if you've got your lines on the floor to keep your 2 meters or 6 foot as it is here, social distance, that people can see that you're taking precautions.
And there's retailers as well that allow you to order online for collection, and I guess for many small retailers that might sound like a challenge, but if people know what they want, it almost becomes a stop by depot to come and collect things rather than to do general browsing. But that again, that helps with health and safety. Yeah,
absolutely. And particularly if you're posting that offer, if you do it as an online offer, collect at curbside or collect at door, then I think it's just going to help you, I think, and give consumers confidence to come back through the doors again.
Yeah.
So we're hopeful for everybody, and that they're going to be safe and well. But they're our top tips based on retail this week, and following up and from what Sabri said. So we got some messages this week, Darren, and
I do.
Inspirational stuff, yeah.
Inspirational quotes. Before we do that, we haven't mentioned a particular book that's come out.
No, we haven't. And thank you
for
reminding me. But we are allowed to mention it now because it is live. It goes. It is. I mean, it's been live. Went live a few days ago, but we've been holding back just to let people know. So the new normal is out, and it's a free ebook that you can download. We'll put the link in with the post about this week. Darren's a contributor for that. Great chapter, mate, as well. I don't think I've said that, but
thank you.
Great insights. And what we've got, everybody, is a lot of people from around the world. We've got people from Venezuela, from Australia, from Germany, from the UK, from the US, about their experiences, either from a personal or professional view about COVID. Sam Morris, who was on a couple of weeks ago, is in there. Great chapter from him as well. So free ebook. Download it. We'd love to know what you think about it as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to get some of those people that are in the book to come on across the pond as well. So if you've got some questions for them, once you've read it, then shoot them into us. And again, if you've got any questions, or there's somebody you particularly like to see, or there's an aspect that you'd like us to focus on this show, then drop us a message, and we'll do what we can.
Yeah, and just to re-emphasize, it is free. This isn't a promotional pitch to sell something and make money. It's a free way to just get a better idea and a better perspective on how business owners are coping with COVID-19. And I know you're adding the link in the comments as well, Steve. But anyone who's got an Android phone, if they go to the Google Play Store and just type in the new normal, it will come up. They should be able to find it.
Oh, superb. Yeah, nice one. And let us know what you think. So this week, we've got some inspirational stuff this week.
I'm just sharing my screen. So there's actually two here. The first one I think is I like this one. It's a bit of a funny analogy, but we sit there worrying about what are we going to do, how are we going to cope, etc. But worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but to be honest, it doesn't get you anywhere.
I love that.
You don't need to worry. The next one is one of my favorites. And I came across this recently, in fact, is no matter how you feel, get up, dress up, show up, and never give up.
Great inspirational quotes then. Love them, particularly in light of what's going on, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got to be doing it. You've got to be doing it every day. Yeah.
Especially in life.
Superb. So birthday boy, what
Yes.
you got planned for the rest of the day? You got
Cake.
Good man.
Cake and a beer, possibly a glass of wine. I haven't decided yet. So as soon as we get this podcast and episode uploaded, I'm going to be heading to the hammock in the garden. It's lovely and sunny here, so
good man.
Taking it steady.
Good for you. Are they doing drive-bys for birthdays in the UK?
What do you mean by drive-bys? That sounds like an American thing.
Yeah, no, yes, yeah, it's not an Al Capone thing, thankfully. No, so what they're doing, if it's your birthday, because you can't have a party and you can't have friends coming by, you have cars driving past with balloons and horns honking and all of that sort of stuff. So,
there's clapping out in the streets for the NHS, for the healthcare workers, but there's nothing for me, unfortunately. It would be nice, but yeah, no, there's nothing like that. But obviously, we've had the cake delivered, and
nice.
Yeah, everything can be delivered nowadays to the door.
Good man.
Yeah.
Just on the clapping, have you seen the very awkward video of Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles?
No, I haven't seen
coming out to clap. No. Okay, we'll put that on for you all next week, guys. Slightly embarrassing to watch, very awkward to watch, but and I've had a lot of people, say, what are they doing? Because it looks like they've just come outside their front door and stood there clapping. But I had to explain, that we're supporting the NHS with that going on. So we'll share that with everybody next week as well. It's it's rather painful, to say the least.
You're going to have to share it now. We're all intrigued.
I will. Maybe I'll put a link in. Maybe I'll put a link in on the post as well. We'll do a separate post.
I think you should. I think you're going to have to now.
Yeah, bound to. Yeah, okay, done deal. So thanks for Sabri for coming on, Darren. Always great seeing you, mate.
You too.
Have a wonderful day for your birthday. We'll see everybody again next week on Across the Pond, 9:00 Chicago, 3 p.m. UK time. Stay well, stay safe, everybody. It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
See you later. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.